Welcome to Bible Revealed. Long before Adam walked through the Garden of Eden, and even before Eve opened her eyes to the wonders of creation, a conflict of epic proportions had already unfolded. This wasn't a war fought with swords or fire, but with something far more potent: pride. It was a rebellion in the heart of heaven itself, a hidden war that would set the stage for all of human history. Long before the earth took its familiar shape, when the universe was still a canvas waiting for its masterpiece, God created the heavens. These were not just empty skies, but realms filled with unimaginable light, immense power, and celestial beings we know as angels. They were created to serve, to worship, and to bask in the glory of their Creator. Among this glorious host, one angel stood out, a being of breathtaking beauty and immense wisdom. His name was Lucifer, which means shining one or morning star. The prophet Ezekiel gives us a glimpse into his original magnificence, describing him as the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Imagine a being adorned not just with light, but with every precious stone imaginable: sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl. He was a guardian cherub, walking among the fiery stones of heaven, a position of incredible honor, standing near the very throne of God. He was created perfect, pure, and blameless in all his ways from the day he was created, until iniquity was found in him. That iniquity, that first shadow in a realm of pure light, was pride. A whisper began in Lucifer's heart, a dangerous and seductive thought: why should I serve when I could rule? He looked at his own brilliance, his power, his high position, and began to covet the one thing that wasn't his: the throne of God. The prophet Isaiah records this internal monologue of rebellion, this declaration of cosmic treason. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Think about that for a moment. I will be like the Most High. This single thought, born from a heart filled with self-admiration, shattered the perfect harmony of eternity. It was the genesis of sin. The very first sin ever committed wasn't an act of disobedience by a human on earth, but a conscious choice of rebellion by the highest angel in heaven. Pride became the poison that corrupted perfection. The moment that thought solidified into intent, heaven trembled. The divine order was challenged, and the response was immediate and absolute. A war broke out. This wasn't a conflict of flesh and blood, but a spiritual cataclysm of unimaginable scale. Michael the Archangel, whose name means "who is like God," rose to defend the honor of the throne. He led the loyal angels against Lucifer and his followers. The book of Revelation paints a vivid picture. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The rebellion failed. Lucifer, the shining morning star, and the 1/3 of the angelic host who chose to follow him were defeated. In a flash, their glory was stripped away. Their light was extinguished, replaced by a profound and eternal darkness. The one who was once the epitome of beauty became the prince of darkness, the adversary, Satan. They were cast out of heaven, expelled from the presence of God. But where did they fall? The Bible suggests they were cast down into a place of darkness, a void, perhaps the very same dark abyss that existed before the earth's formation. This leads us to a fascinating and profound theological connection. Consider the opening words of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. Many scholars and theologians believe this wasn't just a description of a physically unformed planet. Could this darkness over the deep be more than a physical reality? Could it be the spiritual echo of Lucifer's fall, the residual chaos and rebellion staining the primordial creation? If this is the case, then God's first command in Genesis takes on a whole new layer of meaning. When God said, "Let there be light," it was more than just the creation of physical illumination. It was a divine declaration of order over chaos. It was a statement that light would triumph over the spiritual darkness brought about by rebellion. The very act of creation, of bringing form from the formless and light from the darkness, was God's powerful response, establishing his sovereignty and declaring that darkness would not and could not have the final word. Lucifer's fall, this pre-Adamic event, becomes the crucial backdrop for everything that follows in the biblical narrative. It explains the presence of a tempter in a perfect garden. It provides the context for the struggle between good and evil that defines the human experience. The serpent in Eden wasn't just a random talking animal, it was the fallen cherub, the adversary, bringing the same temptation that caused his own downfall to God's new creation, humanity. He whispered to Eve the same lie he told himself: "You will be like God." What began as pride in heaven now manifested as sin on earth, leading to the fall of mankind. This cosmic conflict is the unseen war behind the seen world. It is the spiritual tension that underlies history, the battle for the souls of humanity. From the temptation in the garden to the global conflicts we see today, the echoes of that first rebellion in heaven are still felt. But even in the face of such cosmic rebellion, God's ultimate plan was never thwarted. His purpose was not defeated by Lucifer's pride, nor was it derailed by humanity's fall. In fact, the entire story of the Bible is about God's unwavering plan of redemption. From the ashes of Lucifer's fall and the tragedy of Eden, a greater light was destined to shine. The fall set the stage for the greatest story ever told, the story of rescue, of sacrifice, and of a love so powerful it could overcome any darkness. It was a sign that even in the deepest void, even in the midst of rebellion, God's sovereign purpose always prevails. So before the first human story ever began, there was a war in heaven, a war of pride, a fall from grace, and a darkness that spread across the deep. The echoes of this ancient conflict still shape our world, our struggles, and our choices today. But understanding the fall of Lucifer isn't about dwelling on the darkness. It's about understanding the incredible scale of the victory that was to come. It wasn't the end of the story. It was the very beginning of humanity's greatest test and God's greatest demonstration of love. If you want to uncover more of these ancient secrets and understand the deeper divine mysteries woven into the fabric of our world, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Bible Revealed. Join us as we continue to explore not just what happened in the biblical narrative, but why it happened and what it means for us today. Thank you for watching.